So I've seen quite a few people, artists do kind of the water look. There's Molly's Artistry, as well as Olga, and I really love it. I gave it a try. It's not as easy as it looks. There's certain parts of this painting I really like, and other parts I go, eh. But I did one layer, it wasn't sufficient, so I added more and more paint so I could get more contrast, a contrast of colors. It's a little blotchy, you know, in the kind of this color's right here. That's a little bit blotchy, but not to pick at my painting, but I do like, you know, this section here. I think it looks really flowy. But of course, I'm learning, and I had put enough white paint in this section here that I could blow it this way if it got a little overwhelming with the blue, and where I had a better negative space. So this is one of the examples of one of my paintings, abstract, where I did one large layered cup and multiple petals all over the canvas. I think that I likely put the background as kind of a seafoam green, so that kind of, it kind of in a sense has like a tile look, where the seafoam green is the grout. And I like it because it looks fresh, and I kind of get the feeling that it looks like a little village, or, you know, surrounded by rivers. But I am happy about the colors, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So this was my first try with Olga's recipe. And again, with this one, I added more and more color until I felt that the contrast and everything was sufficient. I wanted it to look dynamic, and I think it came out pretty good. Okay, so this one was my second painting with Olga Soby's recipe, and I had the black background, and that did kind of come up a little bit more as it dried, but overall I think there's some pretty cool effects here, and again, it just seems to me a little more elegant than some of my other work. Now, it's really interesting because to me it looks like volcanic rocks with some just gorgeous water. A little overwhelming in the black, a little too much black, but a nice start. All right, so this was about the fifth painting I did with the Olga Soby recipe, and just trying to practice doing that wave. I did get some nice cells, and again, just giving it a try. It's going to take some practice. I think it's really important, or it's going to take time to understand how to bring out specific colors. I had to do a lot of different layering to kind of get the darker blue, and I may not even have the right blue mixed up or the right blue from the tube, so I'm going to be working on that. So what I did here, I was going to do a Dutch pour. And what I did is I put a small puddle of paint right in the center. And then around that, I just put rings and rings of various colors. I brought the rings out, probably covering like 2/3 of the canvas. And then I started to blow it out. The center was a little intense with this, the maroon color. So I do have a tool that I use to kind of create some lines where it has more, it kind of broke up the color a bit and looks a little bit more like a flower. What I really, really like is that everything's very flowy. There's a little bit of shadow here. Very flowy. I feel like there's definitely the look of petals, something that I could not do at this point in my life and stage in my artwork. It would take me hours and hours and hours to create these different petals. And I really feel good about the color combination. I think that worked out really nicely. Okay, again, this is a painting using Olga's recipe. And I did more than one layer of colors just to bring out, just to create more color, more contrast of the colors. I do have gold in there, which I think looks pretty cool. And I do have a tool that helps me to make some minor edits to the edges so they look a little smoother. All right, so this is another one of my landscapes. I'm right now backed up against some a dryer for my canvases, a little contraption that I purchased, so I'm not able to give you the entire painting. But I did the sky first, blew it out, then the grassy area, blew that out. I put in the little sandy area using gold. Everything was blown out except for the gold. And this part right here, it was just white. And it was kind of not blending very well, so I decided to get my palette knife with gray and just put in little scrapes of paint, which to me kind of gives the representation or kind of conveys rocks. And I think that came out pretty good. I had put a dark green here, and then with the the lighter greens, and I just feel like the dark green actually can take on a different dimension, as if it's behind everything else. I'm glad that worked out that way. I wasn't planning it, but it definitely has given that conveying that there's something else behind this grassy area. The sky, I used the cerulean blue, and there's nothing really impressive about the cells. There's really no cells, and there's nothing really impressive here. What I did do is I did a little bit of swiping with a small narrow palette knife. I put white on it, and I just went over the areas that look like there would be foam on top, And that's, I thought that came out pretty good, because I want to convey that this is water and that there is some foam from the water. It's subtle, but I think it works. And I've never been one to create a painting that's really detailed. Like the Eiffel Tower or something, every line. I do prefer these techniques of abstract art better, and so I'm pretty happy with that. So I do have about 45 paintings hanging on my walls. I have been using the command strips. It's got like a little J, so that it holds the painting no problem. And I'm able to get about 12 of these per set at the hardware store. It's been a really, really great, because I didn't want to leave the apartment with a bunch of holes and to be charged an arm and a leg. So this again is a painting I'm done with the Olga's recipe. As you can see, it just is so pretty. I did use one of the paints I used, and what I do with some of the paints is I just add silver, so there's a little bit of a gleam to it. But the pink right here is fluorescent pink and a silver, and it worked out really well. I'm really happy with this, because I feel like it's kind of like 1, 2, 3 levels above what I've done so far, and nothing really impressive, in this specific painting with cells or anything, but the colors just really work well together. And I don't know if I could have done this with my Floetrol pouring medium and the current methods that I use. I'll just get a little bit closer. So I wanted to share, I was looking forever, I purchased this rack from Home Depot. It's 4 levels, and you definitely need a mallet to pound in everything so all of the parts are properly connected. But I have, I've got my paints in here, got a couple extra bottles, more paint here. These ones are all the fluorescent ones. And then I have in this basket, kind of what I might need to get a canvas ready, or to strain out my Floetrol. And then in this one, I have various things. I've got a scale that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and different tools. Some I've not used yet, but I'll see them. I go, oh, I might use that. And got the bubble wrap here. Balloons. Some people use balloons, and they're different techniques. And I also purchased, let's see, I've got my palette knives. I picked up a level. I've not used it yet. I don't think I really need my yellow level yet, because my canvases are so small. I picked up a set of these where it's hard to see them because they're so small, but they have a ball at the end, and there's different sizes. I think I got a set of 10, and they're very helpful in ensuring that the edges look nice and smooth, the edges of the painting. And in this one, I've got kind of everything I might need as I'm finishing up a canvas. I've got some matte varnish by Liquitex, and I'm fine with that. I've tried out the glossy one, and I just felt that it did not go on real even, and it seemed a little sticky. I may not have been using it properly though, because I always read the instructions. I never do. And you're supposed to shake it for so many minutes before I even spray it. So that might be part of the problem. Got rubber bands as needed. Got some gloss varnish if I might ever use that. And this is the command strips. And these are just kind of leftovers. So using my Floetrol, the AUS Floetrol recipe, I did this last night. It's a 10 by 10, and I was pretty happy with it. I liked the colors, and I think it blended pretty well. So this is where I keep my squeeze bottles. It's on the floor right next to this little reservoir. They sell those at the hardware store. This one's about 27 inches by 29, and these I picked up from the dollar store. They're about $1 each, of course, and it works pretty good on getting the canvas off of the paint. On the right side, I keep some other tools, a palette knife, as well as the butane. The butane, I can't remember the name of it at the moment. So when I first started, I picked up about 10 of these squeeze bottles. They're very soft, and I got them from Walmart for 97 cents. They are not really carrying them right now. Last time I looked, I called in twice, and I feel like I got the last 10. But I've got about 30 of these, and these all have my Floetrol mix. And I just keep it simple. As far as fluorescent, I always use the Artist Loft paint, and I think I've been using a little bit of Liquitex as well. Then through Olga, she recommends these wide mouth bottles available on Amazon, and they are working pretty well. And I think whenever I need to clean them out, if ever, that it'll be a little bit easier to do so. I picked up these shop paper towels. I hope that's not too fuzzy. And I really like them. I feel like they absorb a lot of paint. It's really just, I like them because they're a lot softer than paper towels. And what I do, like after my hands are just filled with paint or my gloves are filled with paint, I'll use one of these. And I throw it in this paper bag right there. And anything that has paint on it, I will put it in there and let it dry before I throw it in the trash, so that it's not going to somehow get into the water supply. And that's worked pretty well. I empty it like once a week after everything's dry, just put it in the regular trash. Well, I think I shaved about 7 minutes off of a recording because I was just to put a pause in between all the different paintings. I do have a air filter that is running pretty much 24/7 unless everything in my house is dry. Then I may leave it off for a half day. But I keep that going just so the paintings are okay. Now, I don't know. I may have already showed you this. If I have not showed you this, this is available at Amazon.com. It's a sweater dryer. The measurements are 24 inches by 24 inches, and it has a total of 6 levels. I can fit, these are 14 by 14s, 12 by 16s, 16 by 20s. And as you can see, I probably have at least 15 paintings here that are currently drying and curing. I'll also leave them here after I spray them with some varnish, and it's working out pretty good. As far as my kind of my paint supply, I showed you a couple baskets, and then here I've got a little rounder. I believe I might have picked that up probably from Target, and it has different brands that I use and try to keep it color coordinated. These are ones I'll be using more often now than compared to the Artist Loft. I like keeping things organized. It was really stacked up, like kind of like 2 times more bottles in there, so I'm glad that I simplified it. So I'm going to wrap it up just to let you know fluid art can be very frustrating. I know that I've wanted to give up a number of times because it's frustrating, and fortunately, I mean, I want it to be a happy process and not just frustrating. So far, it's kind of like maybe, well, 70% frustration, 30% joy. And the joy is seeing the results and also passing the artwork on to people that I know who have an interest. So I've been doing this now since mid-December, and right now we're at the beginning of May. I've probably painted 3 to 5 paintings per week, and again, they're all pretty small canvases. I do not see myself going to larger canvases because my place is really small. If I had a garage and I had a huge work table, I might go a little bit bigger, but I think it's important for me to just get familiar with all the different techniques and the different recipes and kind of narrow it down to what I enjoy the most and what gives me the best results. And then we'll see where that goes, because it is a learning process, and things, they may not turn out once they dry. It may be kind of a little bit of a disappointment. So we'll keep on going forward, and if you have run into a few walls and frustration, don't let that deter you. If you have a love for art and you really have a desire to go after this, just keep going. I think that what I like, I mean, I had just done a painting last night and I was happy with the results. So I'm kind of switching from different recipes right now until I get real familiar with one or the other, and then decide which one I like the most, and then I'll probably stick just with that. Well, I hope you have a great weekend, a great week, and keep in touch.